What is up, Moose Knuckles? JJ back here from Run Pure Bets with another free pick for it. Time's going to be in the NFL for Thursday Night Football on September the 30th. Game's going to be played between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Current betting spread is Bengals minus 7.5. Total 46. So nice to pick up a win last Thursday with Giants plus 3.5 versus Washington. That actually turned out to be quite a good game. I'm not sure everybody thought it would be that good of a game, but it was quite a thriller, if you will. My first tilting Sunday of the year, though, with a few spots late that were advantage spots but lost. I'll go into that in a second, but real quick, how about the hair, folks? Spent about 3 hours doing it before this video, because I care. Okay, so I lost the Ravens team total on Sunday. Turned out to be a bad look, actually, which I really liked. I mean, I guess you silver lining, you could talk about how many touchdowns Hollywood Brown dropped, but that's irrelevant. Giants minus 2.5. Chiefs money line live and plus 3.5. Chiefs money line dog money and live plus 3.5, along with the under 44 in Cincy Pitt. Those are my day bets for Sunday. Look, the Chargers throwing a touchdown there at the end was yak worthy, but such is the NFL. So that the Chargers couldn't cover that 3.5 number. I mean Chargers, Chiefs, but it was nice to get most of it back as I did hit some player derivatives from Sunday, Monday, or player props, as the cool kids say. Devontae Adams to land in the box at minus 110. He was the first score on Sunday. Wrote that up in the article for Run Pure. Then on Monday went 2-1 in props. Sanders under his rush attempts. And Rager and Smith to go over their receptions prop. Went 1-1 there. But to pick up a little cheese with the Sanders under rush attempts. So yes, I always give recaps here, whether you get the picks or not. Overall, I wish it was a better week. But a near break even for me in this sport this weekend with a few real close calls being the difference. But this is often the case, folks. For those who haven't realized, your good weeks and bad weeks are more or less those 2 to 3 games that flirt with, we'll call it coin flip variety. Anyway, we're back to Thursday Night Football here. We're actually going for 4 straight weeks getting the actual games correct, but I'm actually going to put that on pause because I'm not going to have a game spread that I like in this game. I'll talk through it to give you guys some perspective, but I actually have a favorite prop I like in this game. I know props haven't been the best for me this year. They usually are, and I'm more of a spread better anyway. And I really just don't like a side here, but I do like a prop. So to avoid any of you malcontents getting like blue balls, I'll just start with the prop. Again, it's very rare for me to value a prop in a primetime game more than the actual spread. But this one's quite juicy on my end. Joe Mixon under 85.5 rushing yards. Got that at DraftKings in New Jersey, minus 110. As of right now, though, it is 87.5 at a little heavier vig. I think minus 120, minus 125 at DraftKings. Not much justification for that increase on my end, though. Still 84.5 at FanDuel and about sub 85 at most books. So if you want that, if you want the over, make sure you go to FanDuel for it. Look, Jags have been sneaky good versus the run. Joe Mixon's your typical bell cow back, but he's still sitting on nearly 25% of offensive plays. The Jags have conceded 3 total runs this season by a running back that were more than 10 yards on the ground. They haven't given up a run longer than 16 yards on the ground. 2 longest runs actually both came from the same guy. I'll talk on that in a minute. This would mean at sub 20 carries, Joe Mixon would need to bust quite a few loose while possible. This Jags defense has proven quite stout through 3 games. There's been a total of 6 running backs to get a carry versus the Jaguars thus far. Only one of them has averaged more than 3.9 yards per. Javonte Williams is the outlier at 4.9 yards per, or YPC, as the cool kids say. Ironically enough, he had the 16-yard carry that I just mentioned before and a 14-yard carry same game. 2 carries for 30 yards to go along with 11 more carries for 34 yards. Goes back to the point that Mixon's going to have to bust a few loose to get over this number. 3.4 yards per rush attempt as a team the Jags defense is allowing on the ground. And the leading rusher this year has been Mark Ingram, who got 85 yards, but it took him 26 carries to get there with an absolute perfect game script. This number is a bit too inflated for me with Mixon. And I just love the spot for it to fall under. I believe even with a perfect script, it could fall short. This number really comes down to Mixon having multiple 10-plus yard runs, which only Williams has done versus the Jags this season. And outside of those 2 runs, Williams really did nothing against this team. Now, I have this number a bit padded. I'm good to go down 82.5. You probably won't see under money hit this, though. It's going to be one of your popular player props over for the night. So maybe you wait, try to get the best number. This is definitely my best bet for the game. And look, it's no put down to Joe Mixon. He's a great running back. To me, it's all spot related, and this number is just a bit too high, all things considered. I'm going to talk further on this game, give you some perspective for those that care. If you turn the video off at this point, you literally can lick my ball bags. So look, we have a revenge match of sorts here Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, also back-to-back number one overall picks. So yeah, we got some big dick energy coming into this game. For those that don't remember, these two met in the CFB Natty Ship back in 2019, where Burrow, with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, finished their dominant season in fashion over a Clemson team that had Trevor Lawrence, T. Higgins, and Travis Etienne. While there are some injuries in the mix, many of those players are actually on both of these teams. Burrow and Chase together in Cincy, with Higgins, Lawrence is with Etienne in Jacksonville. Same faces, different places, as the cool kids say. Anywho, Jags have had a turbulent season to start, to say the least, right? Lawrence hasn't looked anywhere near as good as he did in college, and to that point, he hasn't lost anywhere in his life, really going back to like middle school. And Urban Meyer hasn't lost anywhere he's been either. These two have basically been successful everywhere they've been. Mixed together, though, they've been nothing but dog shit. The play calling's been a mess for the Jags. Lawrence accuracy is a huge red flag. But like I often say, success at the quarterback position is really built upon what's around you. Sam Darnold had basically 1 foot out of the league on the Jets. Now looks poised as ever, down in South Carolina with a new scene. While anomalies can exist, for the most part, success at the quarterback position has a lot to do with what's around you. Pat Mahomes is a great quarterback, but look who's around him, right? The Chiefs have some of the best weapons in the league, and their plays are being called by one of the best offensive minds in history with Andy Reid. All I'm saying is let's take a deep breath on Trevor Lawrence and not, the jury's not out on him just yet. He's been bad, but the parts around him aren't good at all. This team should get hungrier and hungrier as the weeks go on. And let's not forget, Lawrence's college profile was, yes, a better version of Justin Herbert. Herbert was good last year, but certainly has elevated his game with Staley now running the show. And this is all just some overall food for thought to not go out of bounds yet on Trevor Lawrence. I know he hasn't looked good, but overall, I expect at least progression to the mean a bit. I guess it might not be saying much, but I do expect things to kind of get a little better for both of them, Meyer and Lawrence down in Jacksonville. All right, so enough of this talk. Let's talk this game. The main reason why I don't like a side here is I think it's difficult to say how bad the Jaguars are or even how good the Bengals are. If this game was week 1, Jags likely would have been like a 3.5-point dog-ish. Now we have this like 7-ish number hanging, and this doesn't always result in extra value in the dog, though, right? Because I say how the line probably would have been 3.5, but now it's 7.5. Because just look at the Jets-Broncos game from this Sunday, right? If the Jets-Broncos played week 1, that line would have been like, 4.5? Instead, it's 10.5. And the Broncos, the Jets never even looked close in that game, right? So I've seen some brief stints of good play from the Jags. And they've actually looked quite stout up front, as mentioned, with the rush defense. 7th in the league, believe it or not, in terms of rush per attempt. The issues with the Jags has really been on offense, and it's not truly moving the football. This team has shown some bright spots moving the ball downfield. Marvin Jones, James Robinson, and Trevor. The big issue, though, is Lawrence is just turning the ball over way too much. This makes the Jaguars a tough team to handicap, though, right? Because 2+ turnovers in all 3 games for Lawrence and 3+ in 2 of those games. This is likely to clean up, but when does it, right? And when it does, though, this offense will magically look better. It could happen in this game here, but I'm not really trying to find out when that does happen. Turnovers create a bit of added variance to NFL spreads and betting NFL games. And the Jaguars right now, I'd argue, are the highest variance team in the NFL, especially to bet when you consider how much they're turning the football over. Bengals offense likely moves the chains all game, but we've seen how weird some of these Thursday night games can be, right? I'd argue for some value in the Jags, but I simply cannot back a team that's turning the ball over as much as they are. On the defensive end, the Jaguars have been blistered versus the pass. So Burrow's likely going to have his spots with Boyd and Chase. Higgins going to be out again, but it shouldn't matter. Much like the Panthers last week, though, are the Bengals really looking to make a statement here and blow out the Jaguars? I don't know. Just kind of like grab a win and enjoy the extra rest would seem likely, or they're in a bit of a battle of the tomato cans type of game, and any team could win, I guess. But teams have poured it on versus the Jags through the air. But the Jags have also been completely dominated by time of possession. That's another big thing against this team. In terms of yards per play, there are some good teams who've looked worse defensively than the Jaguars this year. How about the Ravens, Colts, and Vikings? In terms of yards per play defensively, have been worse than the Jaguars. I get it. So, like, land the plane, right? So, what I'm getting at is the Jags aren't as bad defensively as they've appeared, and they aren't as bad offensively as they've appeared. Time of possession, or lack thereof, and turnovers are skewing their numbers, especially with their record and box scores. But both are quite fixable, even in the short term. My issue is I don't know when this gets fixed. So, with that said, I'm off the bet. I'm off the game entirely from a betting perspective. I wouldn't even like any live spots. But derivative-wise, player prop-wise, I really like Joe Mixon to go under 85.5 yards. And again, you can even catch 87.5 at DraftKings, one of the lone books offering that number that high. Got this minus 110 at DraftKings in New Jersey at 85. And look, may the odds be ever in our favor. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Create some fake accounts more. Thumbs up. If you did not enjoy, I hope you trip and fall on a Lego piece. As always, drop comments below your thoughts on the video. Also, let me know who you're betting for Thursday Night Football. I didn't give you a bet here, but look, feel free to fire. And also, give me some plays for the weekend that you're playing in the NFL. If you go 4-0, I'll send you over a Run Pure shirt. I know one of my guys, Joey from the chat, has been asking about it. I keep forgetting to discuss. I think John as well. So either way, John Brandon Broey, either way. I believe you've been asking, and here we are. Shirts are here. So drop a few comments in the chat. Go 4-0 with your NFL plays, including this game if you'd like, and I'll ship you over a Run Pure Bets t-shirt for free. Just make sure you give us a follow, Run Pure Bets on Twitter, and I'll DM you can DM me when you if you go 4-0. We'll get you the shirt. So either way, even if you don't want to comment on the game, be sure to drop a comment, even just to say hello. No one likes a silent stalker. We have a fun-filled weekend coming up with a ton of sports betting content. Be sure to soak it all up. And also, how about a quick shout-out to Joey Work? I mean, what a month in MLB for him. Dude just crushes MLB, so kudos to him. I'm sure he's going to keep firing all throughout MLB playoffs, so good guy to have on the team, and I hope you guys all enjoy his content because it's been great. NFL, college football, again, Major League Baseball, UFC stuff, NASCAR, live shows with the crew. I'll also be back Thursday night for college football, and tonight, actually, depending on the time you watch this, Print Factory show with the DFS crew as well, talking more NFL games throughout the entire Sunday or entire week 4. So yes, lot of content in general, and I will be back again tomorrow for college football video for Friday. But until then, be sure to gamble responsibly, stay safe, folks, and run pure.